Salutations, respected viewers. I am George from Ireland, and I'm going to read Windsor-Forest by Alexander Pope, which is an exquisite poem which he composed when he was 15. And it's a place I know somewhat, and I can't think of any other piece of writing which evokes it more delightfully than this one. So I hope you shall derive some aesthetic pleasure from reading it. From hearing it, as I shall from reading it aloud, as I've been banging on about Alexander Pope quite a lot lately. Anyway, so here we are. It's about 430 lines, so I don't think I'll read the whole of it. Windsor-Forest by Alexander Pope. Thy forests, Windsor, and all thy green retreats, at once the monarch's and the muses' seats, invite my lays. Be present, sylvan maids, unlock your springs, and open all your shades. Granville commands, and aid, O muses, bring what muse for Granville can refuse to sing. The groves of Eden, vanished now so long, live in description, and look green in song. These were my breast inspired with equal flame, like them in beauty, should be like in fame. Here hills and vales, and woodland and the plain, here earth and water seem to strive again. Not chaos-like, together crushed and bruised, but as the world harmoniously confused. Where order and variety we see, and where through all things differ, they agree. Here waving groves a checkered scene display, and part admit and part exclude the day. As some coy nymph her lover's warm address, nor quite indulges, nor can quite repress. Here interspersed in lawns and opening glades, thin trees arise, and each that shun each other's shades. Here in the full light, and the russet plains extend, and there wrapped in cloud the bluish hills ascend. Even the wild heath displays her purple dyes, and midst the desert fruitful fields arise, that crowned with tufted trees and springing corn, like verdant isles and sable waste adorn. Let India boast her plants, nor envy we the weeping amber and the balmy tree, while by our oaks the precious loads are borne, and realms command which those trees adorn. Not proud Olympus yields a nobler sight, though gods assembled grace his towering heights, than what more humble mountains offer there, where in their blessings all the gods appear. See Pan with flocks, and fruits Pomona crowned, here blushing Flora paints the enamel ground, here Ceres gifts in waving prospect stand, and nodding tempt the joyful reaper's hand. Rich industry sits smiling on the plains, and peace and plenty tell a Stuart reigns. Not thus land appeared in ages past, a dreary desert and a gloomy waste, to savage beasts and savage laws a prey, and kings more furious and more severe than they, who claimed the sky's dispeopled air and floods, the lonely lords of empty wild and woods. Cities laid waste, they stormed the dens and caves, for wiser brutes were backward to be slaves, and could be free when lawless beasts obeyed, and even the elements a tyrant swayed. In vain kind seasons swelled the teeming grain, soft showers distilled and suns grew warm in vain. The swain with tears his frustrate labour yields, and famished dies amidst his ripened fields. What wonder then a beast or subject slain, where equal crimes in despotic reign, both doomed alike for sportive tyrants bled, and while the subject starved, the beast was fed. Proud Nimrod, the first bloody chase began, a mighty hunter, and his prey was man. Our haughty Norman boasts that barbarous name, and makes his trembling slaves the royal game. The fields are ravished from the industrious swains, from men their cities, and their gods their fanes. The levelled towns the weeds lie covered o'er, the hollow winds through naked temples roar. Round broken columns clasped, ivy twinned, heaps of ruin stalked the stately hind. The fox obscene to gaping tomb retires, and savage howlings fill the sacred choirs. Awed by this nobles, by this commons cursed, the presser ruled tyrannic where he durst. Stretched o'er the poor and church, his iron rod served alike his vassals and his God, whom even the Saxon spared and the bloody Dane, the wanton victims of his sport remain. But see the man whose spacious regions gave a waste for beasts, himself denied a grave. Stretched on the lawn his second hope survey, at once the chaser and at once the prey. Lo, Rufus tugging at the deadly dart, bleeds in the forest like a wounded hart. Succeeding monarchs heard the subject cries, nor saw displeased the peaceful cottages rise. Then gathering flocks on an unknown mountains fed, o'er sandy wilds where yellow harvests spread, the forests wondered at the unusual grain, and secret transport touched the conscious swain. For fair Liberty, Britannia's goddess, rears her cheerful head and leads the golden years. Ye vigorous swains, while youth ferments your blood, and purer spirits swell the sprightly flood, wind the shrill horn or spread the waving net, when milder autumn summer heat succeeds, and in the new shorn field the partridge feeds. Before his lord the ready spaniel bounds, panting with hope he tries the furrowed grounds. But when the tainted gales and game betray, couched close he lies and meditates the prey. Secure they trust, th' unfaithful field beset, till hovering o'er them sweeps the swelling net. Thus if small things we may with great compare, when Albion sends her eager sons to war, some thoughtless town, with ease and plenty blessed, near and more near the closing lines invest. Sudden they seized the mazed defenceless prize, and high in air Britannia's standard flies. See, from the brake the whirring pheasant springs, and mounts exultingly on triumphant wings. Short is his joy. He feels the fiery wound, flutters in blood, and panting beats the ground. Ah, what avail his glossy varying dyes, his purple crest and scarlet circled eyes, the vivid green his shining plumes unfold, his painted wings, and the breast that flames with gold. Nor yet when moist Arcturus clouds the sky, the woods and fields their pleasing toils deny. To plains with well-breathed beagles we repair, and trace the mazes of the circling hare. Beasts urged by us their fellow beasts pursue, and learn of man each other to undo. The slaughtering guns th' unweary fowler roves, when frosts have whitened all the naked groves. Where doves in flocks and leafless trees are shade, the lonely woodcocks haunt the watery glade. He lifts the tube and levels with his eye, straight a short thunder breaks the frozen sky. Oft as in the airy rings they skim the heath, and clamorous lapwings feel the leaden death. Oft as the mounting larks their notes prepare, they fall and leave their little lives in air. In genial spring beneath the quivering shade, where cooling vapours breathe along the mead, the patient fisher takes his silent stand, intent his angle takes his trembling in his hand. With looks unmoved he hopes the scaly breed, and eyes the dancing cork and bending reed. Our plenteous streams of various race supply the bright silvery perch with fins of Tyrian dye, the silver eel with shining in the volumes roll, the yellow carp in scales bedrooped with gold. Swift trouts diversify the crimson stains, pikes and tyrants of the watery plains. I think I'll leave it there. It's not quite halfway, but that's enough for the moment. So, well, I hope that that gave you some slight satisfaction. I'm going to say toodle pip. So see you next time for more recitations from the oeuvre of Alexander Pope.